Welcome to another edition of No Name Podacst. We still haven't. Have we agreed on?
I thought 106 and Pod was
106
the
and
one.
Pod yet? We're
never
really,
gonna figure
really
this out.
Figure
We
it
have
out.
commitment issues.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we are.
We can't tap our toe in the water and not jump in. Come on.
So this edition is all about Kobe Bryant, and we want to keep this. I don't want to say upbeat because I don't know if that's the right word, but we kind of want to touch on the legacy that he's left and all the great things that Kobe's done. Initially, we came up with we were going to do a top 24, why Kobe is GOAT. Then we decided to do a top 8, and then that just kind of turned into I'll let Noor explain it in detail, but we're going to discuss all of the great things about Kobe Bryant and some of our memories and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all having like a really difficult time, and some of us have moments kind of by ourselves where we're just like still in shock. And I personally have found a little bit of comfort in reading about Kobe and hearing stories, whether it was personal or community or Kobe the family man, Kobe the player. I find myself kind of like enjoying I want to hear about him every chance I get. So this is kind of just like highlighting the top 8 reasons why he truly is the GOAT. So our top 8, should I just lay them out or should?
Yeah, lay those top 8 out,
Okay.
but I want to mention something about comfort. I think what comforted all of us, I can speak for myself, was seeing Vanessa, come out and speak. Just that at first it was just heart-wrenching. I had to read it on the air.
Right.
But the more that I thought about it, and when I got off the air, I read her post again, it actually gave me comfort.
It gives you strength.
Because I'm thinking to myself, we're real selfish to be caught up in our feelings when you see what this woman is dealing with and the courage and strength it took for her to talk about this.
And the other families that have lost the loved
The
ones.
fact that she mentioned that and she's asking for help for them. So it's just so selfless. And
I said to myself, I got to get over this. And I felt really selfish. And, like, man, how can I be, this woman is dealing with so much right now. So it was very comforting to see her post that, and thank you for doing that for all of us, Vanessa.
That's amazing strength, that she has to release that statement, especially so soon after the accident.
I'm sure that she got a lot of that strength from Kobe. And on that note, Nasty Noor, how are we starting this off?
all right, so we laid out. This was really difficult because we had like dozens of reasons each.
I mean, it could have been like 81 reasons, 81,000. I mean, the stories that are coming out after the tragedy is it's just heart-wrenching, but it's also it fills you with so much spirit and love because he was an amazing person, not only one of the greatest basketball players of all time, but an amazing person
off the court.
And I'm sorry to cut you off, Noor.
No, totally. So the top 8 reasons why Kobe is GOAT, because even if you are a fan of another team, even if you hated him, you loved him.
Well, let's stop
GOAT.
right there.
Yeah.
Don't name them all yet.
Okay.
That's number 8, right?
Let's go.
And I'll take it from here.
Go ahead.
Because
Vinny knows what it's like to be a Kobe fan and be a fan of another team at the same time.
Yeah, no. And the thing is, I was not a Kobe fan, a basketball fan. Of course, I'm a New York Knicks fan, unapologetic. There's no way to go around it. We suck. We've always sucked. We probably always will suck.
You guys hit rock bottom last night.
This is the life of a New York Knicks fan. It's it's a horrible thing. So
just when you guys couldn't get any worse, your players try to injure other players.
It'll get worse.
Yeah.
It'll get worse. Trust me, it's the Knicks. It'll get even worse than what it is now. But what I remember, well, first off, let's start. Kobe's first point as a Knicks fan, it was in Madison Square Garden on November 3rd, 1996. Actually wasn't his first game. He played against the T-Wolves. That was his first game, but he went into Madison Square Garden, a rookie, 18 years old, scored his first point. I'm sorry, 17 years old. Oh, no, he had just turned 18. So we Knicks fans remember that. And his first All-Star appearance was at Madison Square Garden, which happened to be February 7, 98. You know, he was averaging like 18 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, but he was a popular player, obviously,
It took
in
him
LA.
about 2 years in the league to really bloom into the All-Star that he became.
18-year All-Star. That was his first All-Star appearance, and of course, it was at the Mecca, Madison Square Garden. The thing is about us Knicks fans is if we're rooting against you, and we respect greatness though. Like the Reggie Millers, the Michael Jordans, they all came in and abolished us all the time.
The Larry Birds.
Same with Kobe, everybody. But we respect greatness. So at the same time we're booing after the fact, it's like we're cheering. Like, you know what? I got to give that dude props.
Spike Lee is a good example.
And that was the relationship that Kobe and the Garden had, and the fans of the Knicks. So that's what. You know, and one of the memories is him going against Jordan in an All-Star game. I don't know if you remember that when he was going that was a passing of the torch, so to speak. You know, it was
it was Kobe's favorite place to play on the road.
A lot of people's favorite place. That's what I'm saying. We're the Knicks. We get crushed at home, so everybody crushes us.
The whoop of the Knicks in the Garden.
I'm going through a few moments, and one of the most iconic is it's not really the game he had, is when he had that windmill dunk over Latrell Sprewell. You know, Kobe had an all-around great game, obviously, and he honed his skills tremendously. But he had amazing athleticism, some of which we hadn't seen since like Jordan. Kobe was that athletic. It was like Vince Carter. Kobe was doing amazing things. So that dunk, reverse dunk, and then when I want to say the record-setting night he had against us again, everybody comes to the Garden, and Kobe dropped 61 points on the Knicks. In Madison Square Garden. And at the time, that was on February 2nd, 2009. And, you know, it's just crazy because the images I remember, like everybody standing ovation, clapping because we respect greatness. And again, even if you rooted against Kobe, you couldn't root against his greatness because he persevered and he
overcame crazy obstacles.
Yeah, so those are some of my moments that I also was at a game out here when Chris Childs punched him, like 2-piece Kobe. So that's one of the memories I have. Obviously, it's not a good memory, but as a fan, like I remember that distinctly because it's such a popularized thing. But that record-setting night in the Garden, 61 points. Recently, Carmelo Anthony, when he was a Knick, he broke that record with 62. Thank God, because Kobe would literally still hold the record as the most points in the Garden. He broke Bernard King's record prior to that.
But he still holds the record for a non-Knick. Has the most points.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, exactly. So those are just some of my memories as a Knicks fan, who again love.
And if it was going to be anybody, it's proper that it was Carmelo.
Exactly. And that was right before we got Carmelo. But of course, they're really good friends, and you know, like a lot of us, Carmelo is really hurt by the tragedy, and it just like because he had just spoken, was communicating with Kobe via text saying that Kobe was going to go to the game. Carmelo's now with the Blazers, and it's just so surreal to. I'm sure if you knew him personally like that, to read the text messages, to read the DMs, whatever it was. It's just amazing to me how Kobe had his outreach. He was massive. He was in contact with Shaq's son. He was in contact with Carmelo. He was in contact with
Meta World Peace.
Everybody.
You know, the list just goes
like
on
he
and
was. It's amazing to see how much love he had for everyone. You know, so as a Knicks fan, man, Kobe, we love you. You will always be one of the greatest performers the game has ever seen, possibly the greatest, and especially how he bowed out on that last game. I could go on, but
but this is just one team, one fan.
Yeah, this the NBA family. If you're a sports fan, you know you can't. Greatness is greatness,
right?
And if you say, oh, I don't like Kobe sucks or whatever, then you're just a hater. You're not respecting the game. You're not respecting his craft. Then you're just a hater, and that's fine. Because, like I said, I rooted against him.
Yeah, and you're not a true sports fan. Because if you are a true sports fan, understands the game and understands the value the game brings and the value that different players as individuals bring.
And it's like that commercial Kobe shot about like all the Boston Celtic fan, and then the Chicago Bulls mascot of like I hate you, Kobe. They're all telling him, and he was just like music to his ears.
Yes,
like,
he's like, bring it. That's what fed him. He
thrived off of it, and people, even those people, it's just like you can't help but fall in love with this game, with this player, with this guy. Like, it's just pretty incredible that you just named a couple, and that was just one team.
Yes,
as one fan of
one
millions.
horrific team.
Name that. Recap that number 8 again.
So
we just started.
Reason why Kobe is GOAT is because even if you were on opposing teams, you loved, whether you hated him, loved him, you couldn't not love him.
Right.
Like at the end of the day,
he forced you to love him.
Yeah.
Friends of mine that were Atlanta Hawks fans, Mavericks fans, because I think the majority of friends that I had were either Knicks, Hawks, or Dallas Mavericks fans. Would all say the same thing. It was like, oh man, dude. They would come, buddies of mine would come out here to LA to visit if they lived out of town. And one of the first things on their list of, to do on their visit to LA was like, we got to go to a Laker game.
Yep.
And, I spoiled a lot of my friends because, I know some of the players and some of the Bus family, and so I would take them. We go to the suite, and it was just so funny to me because I would look at them inevitably at some point during the game and say, "You sure you're a Mavericks fan?
Right?
Are you sure you're a Knicks fan?" Because you
Kobe's
would be in
right.
such
Kobe's
awe.
right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Man.
Watching Kobe, and he was that big of a player. So number 8 is in the books. Do you have any?
Even other teams loved him, whether it was his game or him personally or whatever. You loved him. Number 7 is what he did for the city. He's the GOAT for what he did for LA. He brought 5 championships our way. He got us excited to watch basketball. Like, I remember growing up and we had one TV and Laker games were always on, and Shaq's performance with Kobe always determined my dad's mood. So it was always like
a lot of dad's
Kobe,
moods.
like Kobe was like the
Straight
man
up,
and is the man.
Yeah.
But it was just like, oh, fucking Shaq. Like my dad would get so mad, but he like loved both of them, obviously. But it was just so fun to like grow up with that. Like grow up knowing, okay, Laker game's on. I can't watch my own shit, first of all. Second of all, like to by default become like this fan and just watch him and just know that he was so great and so respected by my dad, my brother, and eventually like me, my mom, my sister. So how excited he made people in the city feel, and the parades, like the championships, and like you can't go crazy not watching Kobe play.
He brought everybody together like that. Families, like sports brings families together, and Kobe was must-see TV on a regular season game.
Right.
That's just how great he was.
Especially for us out in LA, you know, because, it became a family thing, and still is to watch,
because he was a kid. He's family. He grew up here. 20 years of his career played with the Lakers, and 24 plus.
Yeah.
As a member of this community,
we remember, things that we like Noor talking about, her dad and being such a fan, and you're spending family time, and even if you didn't know him personally, it just hit home. It hits home because you remember all these great moments, and you're selfish in a way because you're like, man, I'm not gonna, I was enjoying the moments now off the court, and I wanted to see what you did off the court.
Right.
And you were just getting started, and so number 8 is how fans that weren't even Laker fans were
Kobe
fans of Kobe.
Yep.
Yes.
Number 7.
Well, that was number 7 was what he brought to the city.
Yeah,
LA.
the city of LA.
81
The
points,
parades.
championships, the parades. It was a thrill. It was such a thrill to watch him. You didn't know, like everyone watched
the pride.
Mamba play. Like, it was
the
just
pride he brought to the city. I remember several times, like we were on air when I was producing your show at night where the Lakers won championships, and it was like the amount of love and support that we get, people call in, the parades. That's just, like I said, I envy that so much for the Lakers organization.
Or when Fisher hit that
the .4,
that poof.
We were live on the air when that happened. And
we almost weren't live on the air because for me, I was so excited.
Yeah.
I mean, and the funny thing is, Vinny was a Knicks fan, but you couldn't help but be a Laker fan by default almost when they made it to these playoffs and these championships.
Like I said, I still wasn't a Laker fan, but I was like in awe of all of it happening. I was like, wow, the Lakers figured it out again. Like the Lakers got this player again. Kobe did it again. What the heck?
And you brought up Shaq, and I want to say something in regards to him being able to not only play with Shaq, but just understanding how to play with a big man.
Yeah.
Because a lot of point guards couldn't and haven't figured out what Kobe Bryant was able to figure out with not only Shaq but Gasol.
Right.
Just being able to
when you say Kobe and Shaq, the most the pinnacle of plays to me is when he threw that lob to Shaq versus the Blazers. That was like that was the start of their dynasty. That was the start
Start
of it.
looking at them different.
It was just like that lob.
Yep.
They were down by like 15 in the fourth quarter. I know because I was rooting against them as always. and Kobe figured out a way to get the big man the ball in the right time. And
I think that's part of being great is figuring out a way.
Yes.
In whatever it is you do in life. And for him, he had this knack about figuring out how to win, picking apart an offense and figuring out the weaknesses and sharing that. It's one thing to figure it out as an individual. It's another thing to figure out something about a team as an individual and having the wherewithal and the respect from your teammates to be able to share that knowledge that you figured out about that team with your team.
Yeah.
And he was able to do that. He was almost like, he really was a coach.
Yeah.
And he would bring these players together and pull them to the side and say, you need to do this.
Yeah.
Or sometimes.
Well, that was the beginning of the beef virtually with him and Shaq, but he figured out a way to make it work still. And, at the end of the day, I think Kobe and Shaq were kind of cut from the same cloth. They just had different personalities. And Kobe, was a, these are
as competitors and as men having egos.
Yeah.
You got
to remember how young they were
young,
at the time.
And they found a way to do it.
They still found a way to make it happen.
Just seeing Kobe spreading his knowledge across across the court to his team, it's a talent in itself. And he had that ability to lead.
Yeah. Yes. So what he did for the city, we're forever thankful and grateful for bringing the championships our way, for making us excited, for making us fall in love with the game every time he played. So number 7 was LA, what he brought to the city. Number 6, Dear Basketball. Winning an Oscar for Dear Basketball.
So I'm on the air Monday, and it was a tough day the day after Kobe passed. It's still tough now,
right.
But especially that day. And, I was trying to do everything, cover every base I possibly could to deliver my show the proper way to my listeners here in LA.
Totally.
And Vinny walked in, this guy right here, and he saw, I think you saw me struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
And he saw that I think I actually told you, I was like, man, I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything. And Vinny said, hey, you got to play that Dear Basketball.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny how some of the most obvious things that are right in front of us,
right,
we don't think of in these situations. Because I'm like digging, like making sure I don't miss anything, And I said, dude, and so I pulled it up. I had my laptop right there, and I played it on the air, and bawled like a little baby.
Yeah, we all did.
And
it gives me chills.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I had a lot of people hit me. We ended up, because of that, because of me playing it on my show, and Vinny even bringing that to light, the station ended up in corporate power. We ended up, I think, incorporating that into one of our promos.
That's dope.
And I actually got a call from a lot of people, but one of the texts I remember was Teddy Moore from Nick Cannon Morning Show texted me. I think I told you this.
Yeah, you did.
He's like, bro, really?
Dear Basketball.
Dear Basketball? He's like, you got a brother in tears over here.
I know.
And, I didn't make it through, I don't think, 10 seconds of that without bawling like a baby.
If you haven't checked out Dear Basketball, and I'm sure there may be, I hope you have, that basically encompassed Kobe's passion and his drive and his will and the voiceover. It was definitely Oscar worthy.
Totally.
And how it was just like you said, I was in tears. Like every time I played it for my daughters to, because they're young. My daughters are 9 and 7. They will never know who Kobe Bryant as a basketball player is, and that's how it is generationally. Right. They never saw Michael Jordan play, but my job as a dad is to keep his legacy alive because of not only what he did for basketball, but as a father and a husband.
Great role model, even though he's not here, for everybody's kids. And if you haven't seen Dear Basketball, watch it, and especially
you could just listen to it.
If you
though.
want a good cry,
yeah, I know,
and you want
as if you haven't cried enough.
Yeah,
I want to read just a couple lines of it, because this is my favorite part. And so I ran up and down every court. After every loose ball for you, you asked for my hustle. I gave you my heart, because it came with so much more. Like you asked for my hustle, I gave you my heart. Just like I literally have chills. Like it I've heard it thousands of times.
Yeah.
You know, especially the last couple of days, like thousands of times, and it just does something to you. Like it really just. I don't even have words.
It resonates even obviously more differently now that he's gone, unfortunately. Right. But even when that first came out, you were like, "Wow, this guy's love. He was in love with this game. He was in love with getting better at any cost, working on his game." Working on anything, a fadeaway like Jordan, the Olajuwon shimmy, the 3-point shot. I mean, he mastered every single craft offensively, and he brought something new to the table every year, because he knew, hey, I gotta evolve. I had to evolve, or the game was gonna pass me up. So to speak.
And the preparation, and we're going to get to that, because his prep was unlike any, and I have a little story I'm going to share with you guys. But yeah, thank you for that Dear Basketball short film, and it just leaves us Oscar award winning. It makes us, we'll forever wonder like what else he was going to bring in that arena, no pun intended.
Because he was just getting started as well, in that area, in the media, the movies, and
and was great at it.
Yeah.
So
that was number 6.
Number 6, Kobe is GOAT because of Dear Basketball and earning an Oscar for it. Number 5, the 5th reason, and I obviously just adore him for this, how much he supported women in sports. Not only through his daughters, both the two oldest daughters, were heavily involved in sports. Natalia played volleyball, Gianna, of course, basketball star. Supported them through all of that, but he would show up to games and make people know who, not that most people do know who Mia Hamm is, but celebrate Mia Hamm.
Right.
Even now today, he would go to soccer games, he would go to the WNBA games, he would support tennis games, he would support ballet, like all aspects of women's sports. He was behind it. He was there, and he was coaching youth, like young ladies. I
think it was so poetic in that respect too with women's sports, is because he saw how women love the game. And it's great that the WNBA is doing better, but I feel like women don't do it for the glory. They do it for the love. And if there was one person sitting in a gym at Staples Center, the women, the Sparks versus whoever, they would be going just as hard, if not harder, because they love the game. And I feel like Kobe almost saw that, having daughters. He saw that vision, like, man, I need to shine a light on these. And some of these WNBA women can ball, can
holding their own. If they played with men.
So that's why I feel like it was almost poetic, because I felt like the men do it for the glory. They want the cheers and everything, and the women do it for the love, because for the love of the game. It's what Kobe had.
So Vinny is a girl dad. I'm also a girl dad.
Proud.
Vinny came to me last year. And he said, "Hey, I'm coaching my daughter's softball team, and I was, glad to help sponsor. And thank you for the plaque, by the way. It's hanging proudly in my office.
Of course.
But you're real involved with your daughters as well.
Yeah.
And so, you talk about being a Knicks fan, but you had so much respect for Kobe, and you could relate. If for any other reason, forget everything we've been talking about on the court, you could relate as far as a father being involved in their daughters' lives.
When I saw that his daughter Gigi was in that crash as well, it tore me apart. But it was a teachable lesson, as well as other family members in that unfortunate tragedy in the crash. But I was just the world stopped, and you just reflect on your own life, and you hope that you're doing enough in your life for your kids, especially if you have kids. And I felt it was a teachable moment, because Kobe's the same age as me. He was born in 1978. I'm 41 years old. Kobe's 41 years old. I was trying to explain to my daughters, that could have been Papi. I could have been driving you to a tournament. Live every moment in its fullest, to the fullest capacity. Love everybody, be kind to everybody, because you don't know when that your time is up.
Yeah.
And my daughter, they're young. My oldest was 9. I kept loving on them on Sunday. I was like, I'm gonna squeeze you tighter, whether you like it or not. I'm feeling really, really bad for all the families involved in the tragedy. So I was just hugging my daughter and said, I'm always here for you. I'm always gonna be here for you. Just know that. And then she just started breaking down, and she started crying, because I felt like she felt the weight of all of this, and I think she was starting to realize life is fragile. My father's here right here with me right now, but he may not one day, so we have to like enjoy every moment. And it's like, again, being a Knicks fan and rooting against Kobe, I was so looking forward, and I was rooting for him as a father, as a husband, and all that, in all those respects and aspects. Seeing him courtside with his daughters, I could relate so much more. I was like, oh man, like, look at him. He's teaching his daughter, like he's teaching her the game. He's posting about his daughter playing volleyball. He's posting about his daughter, her skills being honed and their bond. And it just filled my heart when he was here, and it was so great to see. And now that he is gone, I will always, remember Kobe for being a great father and husband to his family. And that's what I feel like I'm gonna teach the most to my daughters, is him as the person, so.
That's.
I had to bring that up because I know how much Vinny could relate, having the daughters. And
this actually takes us straight to the fourth reason why Kobe is GOAT, because of his family. Sorry, I can't speak right now.
No, it's okay.
Because of how he was with his family, and how he just, you could see the love, like you said. And it's so funny because I remember last year, Vinny, you had tweeted, and this resonated with me because I know the biggest question you get here at Power 106, non-music related, is, when are you and Alicia gonna have your boy?
Right.
Are you mad you don't have a boy yet? Are you gonna try for a boy?
Yes.
And I never thought it was I'm not a parent,
right.
So I didn't see how insensitive that was.
Right. And
I remember seeing you tweet I'm tired of these people. Or I don't know how you said it.
I basically, to sum it up, I was basically saying, it's really saddening to me that one of the people, a lot of people come up to me, say, "Oh, when are you gonna get that boy? When are you gonna go after that boy?" And stuff like that. And I know it's just a human nature thing. And, me being a father too, of course, yeah, you want a son and stuff like that. But I also know, having 2 girls, how I felt so blessed. And I felt like that question and how that being approached is you don't think I love my daughters? I have 2 beautiful, healthy girls who, I'll take your son right now and have my daughter race your son right now. She'll beat your son in a race. Right. You know what I mean?
Your daughters will hold it down.
Yeah.
You don't need your boy for that.
So for me, that is,
my daughter will beat up your son any day of the week.
But it's just so sad because we look at, a boy versus a girl, and it's so gender biased.
Yeah,
right.
And I was so happy to be on the other side of that, because if you don't have girls, you will never know that, because you will have that mentality, and but it's. And I'm not trying to degrade and denigrate people who have sons. It's be a father to your children, no matter what the gender, but don't make someone feel less than, or just because we have girls.
Right.
What are you talking about? Where's the humanity in that? And not only that, hell no. Like, you know, my daughter is gonna carry my legacy, my spirit, my heart. Right. Fuck a name.
Yeah. That's
I
right.
don't care. She ain't got to have my last name.
No,
she got my heart and my spirit and my soul.
Well, she does have your last name.
And now.
So
for now.
My daughter, and the funniest thing when cause I do, as you know, Wednesday night basketball, we bring all the homies, and my daughter gets on the court, and it always amazes me how people
beast mode she is.
Underestimate.
Yeah.
And then she'll start popping these threes, and they're like,
I gotta respect that.
Okay, I see. And some of these dudes on the court don't realize that this is my daughter.
Right.
And I know a lot, most do, because most people that play with us on Wednesdays are good friends of mine.
Right.
Or they're friends of a friend, and they bring somebody.
Sure.
But there's every once in a while a dude will pop up, and he's like, man, okay, I see you over there, you know, and make and nothing bad about it, but make some type of sexual, you know, you're not a male.
Yeah.
So how could you be this good?
How could you be this good?
Right.
Yeah.
And I love when I see that, because I'm like, that's when I go, oh yeah, that's my daughter, bro. She dope, huh?
Yeah.
You know, and as a dad, you know, you're just like,
yes,
that's right. Yeah, you better step your game up,
exactly.
brother.
Exactly.
I love that pride that, you know, like you were saying, like people think like, oh, your son carries your last name and all that stuff, but it's so much bigger than that. And, you know, even seeing as tragic as this all has been, seeing like #GirlDad and seeing all the posts, just like, I don't know, it was just so nice.
Yeah.
It's so nice to see that, because it's always seen as like, oh, girl, like.
Yeah.
And even, I know you mentioned this earlier about like him being, you know, reason why he's GOAT is for his family man status, but also not just to his own kids and his wife, but, you know, even Shaq's son, he was reaching out to him that morning.
Right.
Even other people's kids, like he had
Carmelo's
connections
son,
with other people's families. Like he, you know, the Bus family, of course, like he was family to a lot of people. And even if you didn't know him, like he felt like family. He was in my living room, you know, several times a week.
Yes.
Around that TV, we were watching Kobe, you know?
For sure.
So fourth reason why Kobe is GOAT is his family. Whew. But man.
It's great.
Number 3 is for all the personal stories he left us with, whether it's something that we ourselves witnessed from afar or we have been hearing about. I want to share something that we had people, we opened up the phone lines on Monday on Nick Cam Mornings. We just wanted to talk to the city. Like, what does Kobe mean to you? How are you doing? And we had this guy call, and he sounded like he was an older man. He had a heavy accent, and he was just telling us, you know, I worked at this pizza parlor in Newport Beach, and, you know, Kobe and his family would frequent the restaurant. And one time he came up to the staff and was like, hey, who made my pizza? And everyone was kind of like nervous and shook and just kind of uncomfortable, because usually that means like
something's wrong.
What's wrong with you? Right. And so the manager was like, you know what, we'll refund your money. Don't worry about it. We'll make you a new one. It's going to be handled. And he was like, you're not listening to me. Who made my pizza?
Right.
And so finally the guy who called, he's like, you know, it was me. I made your pizza. Like, how can I make it better? And he's like, and he said that Kobe.
I made your pizza, Mr. Bryant. How would you like to discipline me?
Right. I would be so shook. I would just be like,
oh, man.
Just hang up my apron and call it a day.
Yeah,
like,
it.
I'll go home now.
Wow.
But this listener, I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. But he said that Kobe looked him straight in the face, and he's like, you know, God bless your hands, because that pizza was amazing.
Wow.
And tipped him $300.
Amazing.
Like, what a nice thing, because people are so quick to like complain about things, or, you know, like,
we were just having that on the other, like,
where's this pizza place?
Like, podcast.
I know, that's what we said.
Was it Vince's Pasta and Pizza, the pizza place I worked at?
Was it Casabianca Pizza Pie in Eagle Rock?
Yeah.
Nah,
but you guys saw the video, like, even a couple months ago. I think like right around the holidays, there was an accident in Newport Beach, and Kobe got out of his car and was like directing traffic and like checking on the people. Like, most people, let alone a celebrity of that caliber, wouldn't even get out of their car, you know? Like, for him to like stop, get out, and like people were videoing it, it's just so dope. Like, all the stories that have been pouring in are really incredible.
I've heard a few stories, and you know that the one that I heard was the philanthropic things that he did, the amount of time he spent with kids who were battling diseases, and like Make-A-Wish Foundation, like he didn't want any cameras around. That he had one rule virtually. He's like, he don't want no publicity, no nothing. And there was this kid in Phoenix that he visited that I believe the Phoenix Suns organization reached out to Kobe and asked if there's this kid in the hospital who's really sick. Can you come? He's like, yes, I'll be there. He didn't, no security, no nothing. He just showed up, just hung out with the kid, with this kid who was dying.
Right.
The mom had said that she had never seen her son smile like that. He's 6 years old. He's the biggest Kobe Bryant fan, and she has pictures of him smiling. She's like, I've never really seen him even smile like that. Unfortunately, and Kobe actually went to the doctors and the family said, look, is this a money thing?
Can I
pay for it or whatever? And they were like, no, unfortunately, it's kind of an incurable disease. So unfortunately,
but the fact that he even thought to try.
So these are the kinds of stories that are coming out. That's just
personal people to people, and it wasn't about the PR. It
things
wasn't
that
about
he wasn't sharing with the media when he was doing interviews.
We're finding more about him as a person, and it's bigger than basketball, man.
Totally,
it's bigger than basketball.
Which brings us actually to the number 2 reason why Kobe is GOAT. Everything he's done in our community. Mm-hmm. I tried to finalize a list of everything this man has done for the community, but it doesn't stop. 20 years with Make-A-Wish, volunteering for Boys and Girls Club, basketball camps, Step Up and Second in My Friend's Place, like places that help kids who are dealing with homelessness. He donated $1 million to the National Museum of the African American History and Culture. He created Mamba FC, which is a fee-based free youth soccer club in OC. He did millions of hospital visits, school visits. He's assembled care packages for wounded warriors. Like, this man is a true humanitarian. Like, he touched everything from, the homelessness to the soldiers, to kids, to sports, to like everything.
Yeah.
Whether it was his time or his speeches or his money or whatever it was, like, he poured back into the community, and it just showed how bigger than basketball he truly is. So.
Amen. And it's, another lesson I could say for people is like, let's, and it's, Kobe's been celebrated as a basketball player. Like, let's celebrate the people who are in your life, like, now, like, it's so, of course, we're coming together with this tragedy, like, circumstances, and we're talking about all the great things. Like, we could have been talking about, like, people should have known more about Kobe. And so fortunately, like, after his passing, we're finding all this out, but that's actually how he kind of wanted it. Like,
how he
not
moved.
just was a good person, and just wanted to do for others, and that was great.
There's also a cool hashtag, hashtag Kobe in the community for all of it, because I promise you, what I just named wasn't even like a fraction of what he did. Iceberg. Right.
What's the number
one reason, man?
Reached the number one
for creating something that inspired us all, the Mamba mentality, giving us that standard to be our best versions, to spend extra hours investing in ourselves.
That's affected all of us,
yeah,
in so many ways. And I want to tell a quick story about how Mamba mentality affected someone else. And I heard Jay Williams, ex-NBA player, analyst, ESPN analyst, Jay Williams, tell this story the other day about how when he was playing in the league, he decided to show up, like it was like 3-4 hours before a game to get some shots in. And he told the story of how he had told himself, I'm going to get 400 shots in, right? And he said he showed up, and and Kobe was shooting. He was bouncing. He heard a ball bouncing. He looks over there, and it was Kobe shooting. And he said that he finished shooting, and he kept hearing the ball bounce, and he looked over, and Kobe was still shooting. And just the preparation. Kobe would out prepare you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you hear stories, and I can't remember.
Well, D Wade and LeBron were saying that on the NBA on TNT.
About
like
the push-ups?
No, they were just saying like Kobe was literally like, it was like in the middle, like some like 1 a.m, and Kobe was out on their court, like shooting and practicing, and LeBron and D Wade was like, "Yo, Kobe's outworking us in our own facility right now."
Because
and
a lot of people don't realize that visitors have the same access to a facility to do whatever they need to prepare for that game while they're at the visitor's house.
So D-Wade told LeBron, like, we better get changed, man. Like, we're not going to let Kobe Bryant come to Miami and, like, outwork us. And it's just all these stories that you're hearing about his prep that, you know, and I've always, and Jerry West said it best when he said that Kobe didn't even need that to label it and brand Mamba mentality. He already had that in him. That was already in him since he was a kid. He wanted to be the best, and he fulfilled it. Like, he, you know, now, you know, people talk about it all the time, Mamba mentality, and anything you do in life, whether it doesn't matter. Whether it be like we talked about in the podcast, how you had the worst job, do your best, try your best.
You could be an attorney.
And
the way you get ready for a case. The way, you know, you can apply it to so many different
excuses,
things, not just sports.
No excuses.
You know, and I've found myself prior to his passing, I would see something, you know, I'd be watching, you know, an old clip of some Kobe stuff, and it was like, it's kind of like the old Rocky movies would motivate you, and you want to get in the gym right away and start, you know, I'm gonna get in shape, I'm gonna get the best shape of my life. And over the years, I would find myself seeing these, you know, these Kobe moments, especially after he retired, and it was so motivating. And so for now, unfortunately, you know, sometimes it takes somebody passing, as we touched on a little bit earlier, for people to really pay close attention, and, you know, you start looking at this person, you know, under a microscope and finding out all the amazing things that you thought you knew everything about this, in this case, a great athlete and a great human off the court, but we really didn't know anything. Come to find out,
I mean, just him like blowing your Achilles tendon
and playing anyways.
That's career.
That's
ending.
Mamba mentality.
That's career ending. Like, for him to muster up the strength and courage, like, it brought me chills, and it brought me to tears even while he was still present with us, watching him do that and come back. And then, like I said, I'm a Knicks fan, and then seeing his last game, I was with DJ Everett. We were playing pool up the street right here.
I remember where I was with Juan.
Okay, and we were shooting pool, drinking beer, chilling. I literally was cheering like if I was the biggest Laker fan that night, because I couldn't believe what I was watching. If I gave that script, a movie script, Kobe comes back from Achilles, and on the last game he's gonna score 60 points, and he's gonna say Mamba out and drop the mic. Even Hollywood directors would be like, that's kind of corny. Like, that's too good of a story. Too good to be true. Yeah, you can't.
This wouldn't even. It would be a corny movie.
And he did it.
He did it.
And it was and the crowd. Jay-Z, Kanye West. It was almost, and it gives me chills because it was almost like, now watching that, it was almost like we're all like watching him ball in the heavens. You know what I mean? Like, his stage, it was glorious how he bowed out, and it was like, again, poetic, you know. And I will always remember that. It doesn't get much better than that.
It doesn't.
And then his family coming out, and it's you know, it's just tragic. But I think if we continue to share stories and uplift each other, and just, again, I think the overall perception of this tragedy was love each other, call up somebody, tell them you love them. Tell your friends, tell your family, live your life to the fullest, and you know, that's
a lot of people are saying why, and I'm seeing, you know, you hear like, why Kobe, why, you know, Gigi, why, you know, these people were so young, we lost kids, and we lost families, parents,
coaches,
and, you know, there's an upside to this, you know. And I think we're seeing it. I don't know about you, but I've texted people and called people that I haven't talked to in a while and said, hey, I love you. I've seen people that, for a lack of a better way to word it, I see a softer side of people that I know that I never thought I would see that side of. Or if I did see it, I didn't see it very often.
Yes.
And so sometimes I think, you know, it takes losing someone that's such a huge figure and has made such a big impact while they were alive to when they're no longer here. I think what I've seen and what I feel like his passing has created is such a bond and a love across not only the city of Los Angeles, but across our country and across the world. And so I think that's helped me personally get past this. But I want to end off on the biggest thing, and I touched on it earlier, is the fact that Vanessa has had the strength and courage to put things into words.
Right.
And I want to read a little bit of the end of her post because this is important. If this podcast, this episode wasn't for any other reason or any other thing, the people that are watching, I want you guys to take down this information and go donate because she gave some great information here. She said to honor our team, Mamba family, the Mamba Sports Foundation has set up the Mamba on 3 Fund to help support the other families affected by this tragedy. To donate, please go to mambaon3.org. To further Kobe and Gianna's legacy in youth sports, please visit mambasportsfoundation.org. She goes on to thank everyone for their prayers. She obviously hashtagged Mamba, Mambacita, girl's dad, daddy's girl, and family. Yeah. And, there's good that comes out of everything. And I've been reminding myself that, and I think we just have to continue to do that.
Yeah.
And also, we want to bring up the other families that were lost. John Altobelli, Carrie Altobelli, Alyssa Altobelli, Sarah Chester, Peyton Chester, Ara Zabian, and Christina Mauser. God bless all the families. God bless the Bryant family. We also want to acknowledge Kobe's parents, Vanessa's parents, and all the friends and family, because the close friends of the families are feeling it just like the families are. So we don't want to leave the friends out as well. So God bless everybody who's been affected by this, and we'll see you next time, hopefully with a name for our podcast, if it's not going to be 106 and Pod. Love you guys.
Love you, Fel.